Hello, 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 my friends. So happy to see you again. Hello, hello, hello. Pretty boring weekend. Preparing for the move in 14 days. 2 weeks exactly. I only have really kitchen, bathroom, and spare room to finish. Then I will be ready to move everything to the new apartment. Excited for the new apartment. Um, gonna be less bugs. Gonna be less bugs. That's the biggest thing. Less rent too. Going down in rent. Only one bathroom instead of the 1.5 bath. That sucks. No washer and dryer in unit. That sucks. But we will be saving like 200 some dollars a month. Uh, that's $2,400. For the year, we will be sending money in my pocket. Need to get ready to get into law school. This is my year. This in 2027. Let's do it, Daniel. Uh, help me. Oh, why does Andrew send me money? Oh. Mhm. Sandra sent me money. Oh, I needed that money. That's nice money. I appreciate that. Ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. That is going to be my groceries for the week. That is going to be my gas for the week. It'll get me till Friday. Um, then I have to pay for everything for the new apartment, and then September I'll be saving money. It's rough out here. 45% of people age 18 to 29 are back living at home. Was it like 57% of people age 18 to 29 still rely financially on their parents? Um, it's hard out here. It's really hard out here. So if you are living well, definitely see if you can help people. That's just like asking them if they want to have dinner and then cooking them dinner and uh, sending them home with leftovers so they have another meal. Save them 2 meals right there for a week. That's fucking great. Giving them rights to work. Offering to do something with them that doesn't cost any money. Like, hey, do you want to just come over? I'm gonna order pizza and we'll watch some movies. Or, hey, do you want to go to the park with me? Gonna go to take my dog to the park. We can hang out, have a little picnic. Don't worry, it's on me. Um, anything you can do to help your friends. I highly encourage you to do it because it is hard out here. Wages are not keeping up with inflation, and Donald Trump straight up said he doesn't give a fuck. He said, "I don't care if you spend $4 a gallon. I need to stop Iran." Stop Iran from what? Not exactly sure, but here we are. This one, I don't. This video, I don't even know what it's about. He looks very exacerbated though, and that's how I feel at times. Um, oh, Saturday I did go door knocking. Did I stream? No, I didn't stream. Um, Door knocking. I met three Trumpers. Well, two Trumpers, and one guy who said he'll never ever vote for a Democrat. He was funny. He was trying to knock down a wasp nest with a pole. I was just watching there. I was like, if he gets stung and he's a Republican, I will call 911 because he's an old man. But that shit would be funny. Um, but mostly I got I think like 6 or 7 Talarico, Vicky Goodwin, and Gina Hinojosa votes. A lot of people were not home on a Saturday, so that's good. So yeah, let's see what Jonah or Josiah. I'm pretty sure he's Jonah. Pretty sure his name is Jonah.
Folks, how many times have you heard me say the phrase, "This is the most corrupt thing Donald Trump has ever done"? Probably dozens of times at this point. And yet, time only moves forward. One day gives way to another. And Donald Trump does something even more corrupt on Wednesday than he did on Tuesday. And so here we have yet another contender for the most corrupt thing that Donald Trump has ever done. As the Wall Street Journal has reported and the world is reacting to in seismic ways, Trump's family's World Liberty Financial gets preliminary approval to launch a bank. A bank. The Trump administration just approved the vehicle for Trump's cryptocurrency to become a bank. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency gives the flagship crypto venture a conditional approval to be a trust bank. When I tell you that everybody's reacting to this, Elizabeth Warren says this is the most brazen act of self-dealing our financial system has ever seen. I'm introducing a bill to stop this kind of unprecedented corruption. And I mean, we are going to get into the stunning response to this, but we have to dive into the particulars. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to give me 3 free clicks before you go. It costs you absolutely nothing. The like, subscribe, and notification.
I read about this. And I was like, oh, that's really not surprising. I would say that if you were looking at a bank who is going to be doing some shady shit, this is probably going to be the bank for you. So if you are somebody who does shady shit, maybe you're like somebody who does bank fraud and, wants to just take the money from the bank, you probably want to go do some bank fraud at that bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't sound like they are going to have the highest of standards.
Bells. Not only will they tell you the next time I post a video, but it urges YouTube to recommend this video and this channel to other YouTube viewers like you. And given that we're doing a deep dive into the latest act of unprecedented corruption by the most corrupt president in American history, and we have 2.5 years left to go, I think people should hear about this. So I'd appreciate it. Let's dive in. Trump's family's World Liberty Financial gets preliminary approval to launch a bank. World Liberty Financial, the Trump family's flagship crypto venture, said on Friday that its trust company has received preliminary conditional approval from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency to become a bank. Upon final approval, World Liberty Trust will operate as a federally chartered national trust bank. The charter will allow World Liberty to issue, redeem, and safeguard USD1, the dollar-backed stablecoin that World Liberty launched last year. The stablecoin, whose reserves are currently custodied with BitGo, has a market value of about $4 billion. The firm said it would have to satisfy a list of conditions and receive a final examination from the OCC before it could become operational. The OCC, led by Jonathan Gold, that's a good pun.
When Miami was going through the cocaine boom, one of the other industries that benefited from the dirty money of cocaine was the banking industry. The banking industry was just taking in piles of cash and opening up branches and branches to launder the cocaine money. Yeah. So there's a pattern there. I don't know if you're catching my drift, but you see how, like, if you're like making a lot of dirty money, you need to clean that dirty money. So the best way to clean that dirty money is like through a bank. Um, like I said, if you are a shady person and know how to defraud a bank, this is probably going to be the bank for you, okay? Oh my Jesus.
That's a good pun. Gold. Assuming I'm pronouncing it right, gold, comptroller, currency. You got to appreciate, right? That's like, you'd see that on DuckTales. Anyway, has approved the launch of several crypto-focused trust banks, granting them broader access to the traditional financial system. Trust banks differ from full banks in that they generally can't take deposits or make loans. The approval comes as Donald Trump's $1.4 billion earnings from his meme coin and crypto ventures have become the biggest roadblock for passing a landmark bill that would create a comprehensive regulatory framework for digital assets. The Clarity Act has stalled, driven in part by disagreements over ethics language that would prohibit government officials from profiting off digital assets. The bill is scheduled for a procedural vote on September 15th. President Trump and his two sons helped launch World Liberty in late 2024 as a decentralized finance, or DeFi, project that would offer borrowing, lending, and trading services. Those features still haven't become available, but World Liberty now offers borrowing and lending through a partnership with Dolomite. The crypto empire has created a huge chunk of his family's recent windfalls. In 2025, he earned more than $500 million in proceeds from selling World Liberty's token, WLFI, and an additional $263 million connected to the sale of equity in World Liberty to a group of investors led by Sheikh Tahnoun bin Zayed Al Nahyan, a United Arab Emirates royal, who, by the way, he's seen as the, what's he called? The AI Sheikh, I think is what he's called. And as a consequence of this, the UAE was granted access to some of our, most advanced AI chips. I think it was NVIDIA, if I remember correctly. World Liberty applied to create a trust company in January with plans to offer crypto custody and stablecoin conversion services while serving institutional customers, including crypto exchanges, market makers, and investment firms. The plan has drawn backlash from critics who raised concerns about conflicts of interest. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts said in a statement, quote, "We've never seen financial conflicts or corruption of this magnitude." And again, the White House has responded with its least persuasive, least comforting stock phrase that it always rolls out. Hope you're ready for it. Hope you're sitting down. This is what if you're concerned about corrupt conflicts of interest, have no fear. Because the White House said, quote, "Neither the president nor his family has ever engaged in or will ever engage in conflicts of interest." Oh, my bad. Oh, okay.
So everything's okay.
Sure. I know this looks like corruption and conflicts of interest, but don't worry. We're not going to do that. I know it looks like I'm putting on a mask and robbing a bank, but I'm not going to do that. Like, sure, I'm taking the money, from the vault to this, windowless man with fake plates. But it's not a bank robbery. Like, I would never do that. Why would you even ask that?
Hmm.
That's fake news. You're a libtard. How dare you ask me that question? Like, it's so embarrassing. They don't even try. It's almost like they're mocking you, right? They don't even provide. Here's why. It may look bad.
Literally, you just have to be a good person, and you won't find yourself having to open up a bank to launder money that you stole from people.
In certain respects, but here's why it's actually not. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here are the reasons to not be concerned. Nope, just a boilerplate. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Zach Witkoff, chief executive of World Liberty Financial and chairman of the World Liberty Trust Company, said the firm submitted, quote, probably one of the most thoroughly reviewed applications in the history of the OCC. But we answered all of the regulators' questions, and we accepted significant obligations and ongoing scrutiny that come with the national charter. If we were looking for less oversight, we would not have chosen federal supervision. Zach Witkoff is the son of Steve Witkoff, the president's friend and Middle East envoy. World Liberty Trust said it would be governed by a 5-member board that includes Witkoff, his father's brother Robert Witkoff, who's a former co-investment officer of the Chubb Corp., and Scott Alper, who was president and chief investment officer of his father's real estate firm, Witkoff Group. The other 2 members are Jeffrey Weiner, former chairman and chief executive of accounting and advisory firm Markham LLP.
This is not normal. This is not normal. We shouldn't have a company with direct ties to the White House opening their bank to lend money and rip off U.S. citizens even further. This is. There's just no two sides to this. There's no like, well, they do it. No, nobody does this. No, there is no Democratic president that opened up a fucking bank to start lending to U.S. citizens. It's fucking stupid. Jimmy Carter and his fucking peanut farm. Oh my god. If I made $400,000, my whole family, a year, my whole family would be taken care of. They wouldn't need to be scamming their followers out of money to open up a bank where they're going to scam their followers out of even more money, you know?
And Aaron Baskett, member of the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, Board of Governors, and founder of brokerage firm Sinqua Non-Capital. World Liberty now offers borrowing and lending through a partnership with Dolomite Protocol. This article has been updated to reflect that. So, sure looks hella corrupt, right? So let's see how people in media are responding, from politicians to pundits and everybody in between. Jeff Stein says, just so people are really aware of what this means, a Trump appointee has approved Trump's personal crypto firm to operate as a bank. Corporations can conduct transactions in which the Trump family gets a cut. The public will not have to be informed. There is no precedent for this. Of course not.
Because we used to have integrity. We used to have a system of morally superior expectations for people in power because of how corrupt the government used to be. So it's like, okay, we want to avoid even a iota of scandal. So we're gonna give up our peanut farm, or we're gonna put our money into a blind trust, or we're gonna tell our son to stop selling those shitty ass paintings. But nah, here we are with Trump, and he's like, yeah, my sons are gonna go open up a bank. Go ahead, get a loan from them. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god, I can't.
Because he is unprecedentedly corrupt. Hassan Piker says even Erdogan and Putin have to hide their corruption. These motherfuckers are doing it out in the open, and there are still cattle that thinks he's the second coming. That's true. Unfortunately, the people who used to bitch about corruption on the right have nothing to say. Where's Nick Shirley in all this? He doesn't care. Corruption, fraud, it doesn't matter because it's coming from Trump and he's God Emperor. Mehdi Hassan says they're making sure that they are rich beyond their wildest dreams long after Trump departs the White House. If he departs the White House. Is so openly and nakedly and obviously corrupt, I'm not sure it can be overstated. And that's why I hope Mehdi, the next time he's back on Piers Morgan, really takes the time to force Piers to confront this, because more people should be talking about this. Tommy Vitor, Pod Save America, says, excited for the day when Trump uses taxpayer dollars to bail his own bank out. Now, that's a sick move that Trump would absolutely do. America, holy hell, this is so damn corrupt. Even Trumpists have to see this. We are way past historic and unprecedented corruption. This is a criminal organization masquerading as a presidential administration, and they are destroying us. Midas Touch says the corruption is endless, and if you let them hold on to your money, you deserve all the consequences.
See, no, I would definitely say don't let them hold on to your money. Don't do that. But if you, as a person, know how to get money from a bank in a way that you need it and then wouldn't have to pay it back, if you were that type of person, that sounds like the bank to you, for you. Like, I'm not here instigating or championing anything, but you know, if you were that type of person, here's your shot. Here's your Ocean's 11. You know what I'm saying?
Sarah Longwell of the Bulwark says this is the Trump crime family. Joe Walsh, a former Tea Party Republican congressman turned MAGA Republican congressman before he left, said the most corrupt family in American history, and they can be so openly, so obscenely corrupt because we don't have a Congress and because way too many Americans just don't care. What a shame. And again, others reacting as well, just they are stunned by this. Brian Beutler, who is a progressive journalist, says, wow, they've really wowed the compliance people with their sterling credentials. Indeed, yeah, when people say, well, we had to go through a process, yeah, but if the guy who like has a controlling interest in the company is also the president who ultimately controls the administration, you know, authorizing or rejecting the compliance, that's not exactly a win here, right? You didn't exactly prove the point you were trying to make. Denver Lee Riggleman III, who was a Republican and has actually been leading the charge exposing Trump corruption and Trump's...
So, like, if a bank were to get shut down for illegal practices, say in 2 years or so, something like that, I wonder if you would have to pay back those loans. I wonder.
Like election.
I don't think so. I would vote that if a bank went under for not using safe financial practices or against the law practices, that the people should not be punished for their bad acts and all loans should be forgiven.
Meddling in terms of trying to steal the 2020 election. He says corruption is the standard. Again, all sorts of responses. Rick Wilson of the Never Trump outfit, the Lincoln Project, says, quote, of course I feel safe with my money in Trump's bank, said no sane human ever. Indeed. Libertarians against Trump. If a Biden-appointed regulator rubber-stamped a banking license for a Hunter Biden crypto firm, conservatives would be screaming about third world corruption for a month straight. Because it's Trump, they'll just ignore this blatant cronyism. It's such a grip. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. So this is all over the place. It's going viral now. It should be more viral, quite frankly, than what it is. And again,
Definitely.
It's arguably the most corrupt.
Yeah, this story has been out there for like three or 4 days.
Thing that Trump has done. I want you to hear from Rahm Emanuel for just a moment. So Rahm Emanuel is probably going to run for president in 2020. I don't think he stands a chance in hell. But he is a smart guy. He's a shrewd guy. He's considered a ruthless, realpolitik practitioner. This is a guy who used to be a member of Congress. He served under President Clinton, President Obama, President Biden. He was actually President Obama's White House chief of staff. So he was also mayor of Chicago for the longest time. So he's basically held every lever of government power you can possibly imagine, except the governorship for the presidency. And I know a lot of people on the left hate Rahm Emanuel, but when Rahm Emanuel's right, he's right. And I want you to hear what he has to say about Trump corruption and impeachment, and trying to make the case to the American people that beyond just the abstract enforcement of civic virtues, which quite frankly just everybody should give a shit about, everybody should care, no matter how well they're doing or how.
We don't want a system of cronyism running the government. Like, it's not fair to the rest of us who don't have the billions of dollars to fucking buy access to the president. Fuck, bro.
How poorly
So
they're doing,
disgusting.
that they're elected
Yuck.
officials who are supposed to be
Yuck.
working on their behalf for the benefit of the country. They should care if they are corrupt, right? Even if we're not at war, even if we aren't in the middle of an inflation crisis, like, everybody should be taught to give a fuck about that sort of thing. But things are not well, and Rahm Emanuel puts it pretty well.
The Senate, they win the House. Do you believe Democrats should impeach President Trump next year? You've said he has corruption across the board.
Yes.
You've called his business deals dirty money.
Yes.
Worse than Castro, one of your phrases.
Yeah, so I say you'd make an alderman in Chicago blush for the kind of corruption he's doing. They're just out there taking money left and right. The President of the United States is $4 billion richer, and you're $4 trillion poorer. And I think that this is a travesty of his constitutional responsibilities, let alone the responsibilities, what he's done. He wants a ballroom, you're going to get the bill. He wants his $450 million Qatari plane, you get $4.50 a gallon. He's building an arch, and your family can't afford a meal at the Golden Arches. So,
For real. I haven't gone that. Okay, well, I'm boycotting McDonald's, but for real, I haven't gone to McDonald's in 2 years. McDonald's they have seen such a downturn in foot traffic that they had to lower their prices. Remember, everybody was complaining about $5 for a medium fry and shit. I was complaining about $5 for a medium fry too. So they had to lower their prices, but still, people are not back because people just don't have the money for that extra meal. So if you can provide your friends who might be struggling with that extra meal, please, 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 please do that.
that to me is the indictment to make.
Yes, it is. It is the indictment to make. Folks, we can't unfortunately just bank on the American people giving a shit about corruption. If that were the case, Trump would have never been elected in the first place, and certainly never been elected a second time. Unfortunately, we have to make very concrete connections to the pain that people are feeling at home. If you are struggling to afford gas and groceries, you should be doubly, triply, quadruply pissed off at Donald Trump, who is already a privileged billionaire, enriching himself and his family off the presidency. You should be thinking, no, you, bitch, should be working to make me richer. You, bitch, should be making to make my loved ones richer. Not, he's simultaneously taking money from you and forcing you to pay more at the same time that he's enriching himself. So again, it's like threefold. He's enriching himself off the presidency with his crypto ventures. These are industries that he regulates. He's forcing taxpayer dollars, your dollars, to go to his children and his allies.
True.
In terms of government contracts. So he's spending your taxpayer dollars. He's also forcing you to spend hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars, your dollars, on his ballroom, which he doesn't have permission to build.
And then, this shit, Trump wants to change design of warships. Calling them boats. Calling them fucking boats. The Trump boats. New White House memo calls for foreign-built warships to return to steam catapults on Ford carriers. President Donald Trump has ordered the Pentagon to consider foreign-built warships and auxiliary vessels for the U.S. Navy in addition to other proposed changes to shipbuilding in a sweeping presidential release memo. And Thing about it is that action, you can't ignore it. That's not. I ignore emails at work. This is not an email at work you could ignore. If my boss told me I needed to go out to an outside vendor, we couldn't use this in house. I have to go find an outside vendor. Holy shit, bro. Holy shit. Citing a lack of capacity in the U.S. Navy shipbuilding base and cost growth, Trump is instead calling for more foreign investment in U.S. shipbuilding and then the use of foreign ship designs that would initially get constructed abroad. Bro, the only thing I can see about the military industrial complex in the United States of America, the good thing about it is that it's jobs. And I'm always like worried about the jobs going away, but we'll just fund healthcare and then go put those people to work in healthcare. It's fine. The only way that it makes sense to build these things is if, holy shit, is if they're built in the USA, but yo, America first, right? America first. Get the fuck out. Yo, how do I share this? Where's your... Okay, here's your share button. Oh my Jesus. That is insane. Hold on, I have to go back. Hashtag America first. Ah. Who should I tag? We're gonna go with this one, White House. And hashtag foreign. Are they gonna pay China to do it? Do you think they're gonna pay China to do it? Who should I ask that question? Who hates China? Not Hassan. Hassan loves China. Hannity. Maybe we're gonna say Sean. No. That fucking dirtbag. What's his Scott Jennings? Do you think we will pay China? To build them for us. Yo, that's insane. Oh my god. Citing a lack of capacity in the U.S. naval shipbuilding base and cost growth, Trump is instead calling for more foreign investment in U.S. shipbuilding and the use of foreign ship designs that would initially get constructed abroad. What, bro? What if they just keep it? They're like, bro, we just got us a new fucking ship with all of your designs. Fuck you. This is so stupid. And take it from us. We'll shoot you with your own fucking ship. An intro fade. atrophied shipbuilding industrial base, coupled with diminished adjacent supplier bases, has expanded delays and increased costs. The Department of War shall restore both capacity and competition to the maritime industrial base as it expands our naval force structure, reads the memo. It will use proven, reliable, and affordable technologies and ship designs, as well as award contracts that enable purchases from foreign suppliers in the near term while simultaneously incentivizing investment in America's shipbuilding industrial base, consisted with other major equipment purchases such as icebreakers. In the memo, Trump called for expanded use of the Finland model that the U.S. Coast Guard is using to build two separate classes of medium icebreakers simultaneously in the U.S. and in Finland. One of the competitors, and Coast Guard is, fair. You know, if they need icebreakers, then build them some icebreakers. The new memo directs the Pentagon to apply a similar model of the three classes of ships built by foreign shipbuilders, provided the yard simultaneously builds a new shipyard in the United States or assumes ownership or a majority equity position in the existing shipyard in the so they don't have to just they don't have to build their own shipyard here in the U.S. They just have to take ownership of a U.S. Oh my god. By law, American warships and cutters have to be built in the U.S., but the president has broad authority to waive the requirement of general national security interests. Wow. Wow. Congress is trying to half the executive push for foreign shipbuilding with the Senate. Yeah, this is so stupid. Alright, anywho, let's go on.
Donald Trump's psychosis, dementia, psychological problems, neurological, whatever it is definitely getting worse. And of course, that's not news to anybody. We all know that. But the one thing that I still, for the life of me, can't understand is why Donald Trump loves to advertise it. On Tuesday of this week, Iran announced that they have once again, just kind of a reminder, partially closed the Strait of Hormuz. And they are, of course, working on a deal with Oman to where the two countries will control the Strait of Hormuz completely and charge everybody a toll that goes through. So, that happened Tuesday. So on Wednesday, Donald Trump came out, posted a picture of the Strait of Hormuz and said, "I think we will keep it. Our naval blockade is being called by everyone a wall of steel, and there is nothing Iran can do about it." So Iran had already announced the day before, like, hey, we've closed this. So Trump the next day is like, guess what? I've got a wall of steel that's blocking the entire Strait of Hormuz. Nobody in, nobody out. It's mine. I think I'll keep it. Everybody's calling it a wall of steel, even though you've literally only heard me ever say that, which he just started like a week ago. Nobody's calling it a wall of steel. Stop trying to make wall of steel happen. Okay? It's like straight out of Mean Girls. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not gonna happen. Neither is your
American
wall
classic
of steel.
movie.
Give it up, Mean Girl. But he continued.
He is, though.
They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. Their remaining soldiers are unpaid. The IRGC is decimated and fleeing, and their leadership is uncertain at best. They have no money. The country is shot. Again, I don't know if you're talking about the United States or Iran at this point, because man, are you describing what you have done to our military, to our strength, to our soldiers, and to our economy here at home. But you and your little psychosis are just going off like, oh, well, and look, their leader is totally incompetent. He's a big fat slob with fake hair, and I think he has dementia. And then somebody's going to have to come up and tap him on the shoulder and be like, hey, man, that's not a map of Iran, dude. That's a mirror, okay? You know, you may want to delete that post if you can, but he's not going to.
Oh, his
The
shirt
reason-
matches his
And
eyes.
believe it or not, there actually is a reason Donald Trump put this on Truth Social saying, we've got the wall of steel. I'm going to keep the Strait of Hormuz. It's mine now. It's the Strait of Trump. Is because when Iran announced earlier in the week that, hey, we've closed it, what happened to oil prices? They went sky high. So Trump came out the next day and was like, no, I control it. I'm the one. I'm the guy. And trying to get those oil prices back down. That's what this is all about. I do believe, obviously, there is some psychosis because he is once again projecting all of the problems he's caused to us onto Iran, right? Like, oh, they've got horrible inflation. The country has no money. They can't buy things. Nobody likes them. They poop their pants all the time. I'm betting. I hear lots of people say that they do. But it's all projection. It's all us that you're describing, Donald. Sure, things in Iran are also bad. Don't get me wrong. Real bad.
Incontinence is the inability to control one's bowel movements. It happens when you get to 80 years old and have dementia. Just happens, it's just life. That's when it's somebody you care for, it's like, all right, cool, we're just gonna have to switch you to diapers, switch you to rubber sheets. There's just life adjustments that you make to help out, somebody you love. Imagine being in the White House, not loving Donald Trump, and having to cover up all that shit. Oh my Jesus. If I won $1 billion, I would put out $1 million bounty. I'd be like, listen, if you have a story that you think is disgusting enough about Donald Trump, please come meet me.
But you haven't done any better here in the United States either, and I think that is probably what's driving you super insane at this point. Because we can't even say he's insane anymore. We have to say super insane at this point. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, tune in every weekday at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern.
You've said someone needs to stand up to, quote, crazy, stupid things being said that undermine faith in immunization, unquote. Is President Trump saying some of these, quote, crazy, stupid things?
Yeah, that's a crazy, stupid thing. This is why the president's poll numbers are going down. Because people don't perceive that he knows the reality of their life.
Well, one of the cowardly Republican senators who was ousted by Donald Trump in their own primaries, betrayed and shanked by Donald Trump, and who have yet to actually exercise any sort of meaningful leverage against Trump with their remaining time in office, and in particular, I'm referring to Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, is nevertheless
Fucking embarrassing.
talking mad shit about
Fucking
Trump
embarrassing.
on live TV, and in particular, the context of RFK Jr. and Trump and RFK Jr.'s recent vaccines orders, which Cassidy knows as a physician will endanger the lives of millions of Americans. So he talks shit about Trump and RFK and also says that Trump is also wildly unpopular. So he hits Trump where it hurts, at least rhetorically. And we have to talk about all of this, and including the fact that when the time came for Cassidy to do the right thing, he has repeatedly done the wrong thing. But before we unpack all of that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please give me 3 free clicks before you go. The like, subscribe, and notification bells. It will not only tell you the next time I post a video, but it recommends to the mysterious YouTube gods in the ether to recommend this video and my channel to other YouTube viewers. I'd appreciate it. So let's dive in. GOP senator absolutely destroys Trump's recent comments casting doubt on vaccines. Quote, that's a crazy, stupid thing. Makes me think of that Ryan Gosling movie, Crazy Stupid Love, one of the best romantic comedies, probably the best romantic comedy in my opinion. It's got Steve Carell from The Office as well. An amazing twist, an M. Night Shyamalan tier twist in a romantic comedy. It's a classic. Make sure you see it. A Republican senator is lashing out at Donald Trump over his recent claim that, quote, nothing bad can happen by splitting up the childhood vaccine schedule. Appearing on CNN's State of the Union Sunday, Senator Bill Cassidy ripped the president for comments made during the executive order signing Tuesday, in which he said he wants to split the MMR measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine into separate shots. Despite vehement objections from top physician organizations, Trump falsely claimed the combined MMR shot could be, quote, quite lethal, and added that, quote, separately, it looks like they're not lethal at all. So with that in mind, let's jump into the particular clips, the particular segments, starting with this, and we've got a lot to go through.
So President Trump said he wants to split the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine into 3 separate shots, so that would be a total of 6 shots, despite objections to this from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, American College of Physicians, and Infectious Diseases Society of America. Here is what the president said.
Nothing bad can happen from what we're doing. Nothing bad can happen. The worst thing that would happen would be nothing happens. We're not going to lose anything. At the same time, we could gain tremendous, we could save hundreds of thousands of lives, millions of lives.
This is all really confusing for a lot of parents out there. You're a doctor. Is the president right that breaking up the MMR will save millions of lives and that nothing bad can happen because of these changes?
If it wasn't so potentially tragic, you would break out laughing at a comment like that. But let's just take it from the perspective of the parent. Now, instead of going to the doctor twice to get their child vaccinated, they have to go 6 times. Instead of the child getting 2 jabs, they get 6 jabs.
Yo, my dad is pretty famous for kicking the doctor in the nuts and running out of the doctor's office. Now, my grandma got his ass back in there, but yeah, kids don't like getting shots. I didn't like getting shots. I used to cry every fucking time. It wasn't until I was probably like 16 years old, and my mom was like, don't cry in front of the pretty nurse. You don't want to cry in front of the pretty nurse. And I was like, alright, I'm not going to cry in front of the pretty nurse, but fucking hurry up, yo. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. That does, I mean, just as a parent, like, do you want to go take your dog? Are you getting charged every office visit too? Like, instead of the 1 office visit, you get charged 6 office visits? Oh, plus the cost of the vaccine? What? And your kid has to get a shot 6 times? Like, why would you want to put your kid through that 6 times? It's fucking traumatizing. Yeah, I had a traumatic experience with a doctor's office, and ever since then, I stopped telling my mom if I had diarrhea or not. I was like, nope, not going through that again.
Work twice, coming out of their pocket, if you will, to take their child to the doctor. They have to miss work or take vacation or personal leave 6 times. This is inconvenient. It's going to contribute to an increased loss of income. By the way, instead of the insurance company paying for 2 doctor's visits, they're paying for 6, which is going to ultimately drive up premiums going after affordability. And it will do nothing for things like autism. So, in fact, it will be counterproductive. And so it is wrong on so many levels. And this is frankly why I think the president's accused of losing focus on affordability. This is working backwards on affordability. Now, by the way, Maha wants fewer jabs, not more. This substitutes 2 jabs with 6 jabs. And so even the people he's trying to appeal to have to scratch their head and think, what in the hell is going on here?
What in the hell is going on here? Again,
Bruh,
we're
I have
going to
no
get
idea.
so much to talk about here. I just
No
appreciate
idea.
the fact that he is openly acknowledging that this is dangerous.
But Don't give him no fucking props. Just clip him. Don't give him no props, bro. He he was the deciding vote on Todd Blanche. He's like, okay, Todd Blanche isn't gonna give the January 6th insurrectionists payouts. The next day, Todd Blanche is on Fox News saying, "It's like, yeah, I'm not ruling out giving taxpayer dollars to the January 6th insurrectionists." What the fuck? God, man. God.
Of course, there are many reasons to not appreciate Bill Cassidy that we will get into, but it's important to hear from a Republican physician, not some sort of woolly headed liberal, but an actual conservative Republican physician about what Trump is doing and why it's so dangerous.
Just that somebody has.
So President Trump also claimed that the combined MMR vaccine could be, quote, quite lethal. He referred to it as sort of like a nuclear weapon. He said making proof that the size
So crazy,
of
bro.
combined vaccines are comparable to what he called a bottle of soda, a large vat, or what seemingly looks like gallons being pumped into a child's body. You've said someone needs to stand up to, quote, crazy, stupid things being said that undermine faith in immunization, unquote. Is President Trump saying some of these, quote, crazy, stupid things?
Yeah, that's a crazy, stupid thing. And by the way, let's go back to it. Instead of the child getting 2 shots, they're getting 6. Instead of mom and dad missing work twice to bring the child to the doctor, they're missing 6 times. And instead of the insurance company paying for 2 visits, they're paying for 6, which is going to drive up the cost of the premium. So it's the child is going to get more jabs, the parent's going to lose money, and directly and indirectly premiums are going up, which works against affordability. This is why the president's poll numbers are going down, because people don't perceive that he knows the reality of their life.
Well, he doesn't.
Calls him.
He doesn't. He lives in an entirely different bubble than us. He's always lived in an entirely different bubble than us. And then he's ascended to even a higher bubble where we are peasants and peons. And he is fucking the king of the Hunger Games.
Stupid. Says that he's unpopular. This is the reason why he's unpopular. He's seen as out of touch with the American people. He is out of touch with the American people. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't care. This is just doing a solid for RFK Jr. as part of the arrangement that RFK Jr. made to throw his support behind Trump during the general election. Now, this is where Dr. Bill Cassidy, Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, has a moment to take accountability, to step up and admit that he screwed up, because, folks, Cassidy is the chair of a relevant committee of jurisdiction over the Health and Human Services Department, okay? And he knew that RFK Jr. was not just unfit for the role, but was objectively disqualified. Not just unqualified, but disqualified with his anti-science conspiracism. And despite that, in order to try to avoid Trump endorsing a primary challenger in the then upcoming primary, Cassidy violated his Hippocratic oath as a physician. He betrayed his medical ethics. He betrayed his pre-Senate profession, his education, his commitment to do no harm and to uplift the health of the American people. And he helped confirm RFK Jr. as Health and Human Services Secretary. In other words, this may very well not be happening, but for Bill Cassidy. Yes, Trump is ultimately responsible, then RFK Jr., but Bill Cassidy could have stopped this by voting against confirming RFK Jr. So then the question...
Could have stopped Todd Blanche, too. If they had any integrity. They had any fucking integrity. Any balls. Any, self-respect. Why would I ever, if I was a doctor, if I went to medical school, if I got my license, if I had practiced in the medical profession, why would I ever let a man who did none of those things tell me what's the best for healthcare. That don't make an ounce of sense. No goddamn sense.
Question is, do you regret that? Here's his answer.
Last week, when you were asked if you regret your vote to confirm Secretary Kennedy to HHS, you noted that you couldn't see into the future at the time. You couldn't see that he was not going to honor his promises to you to get your vote. How do you respond to the criticism that you didn't need to look to the future, you just needed to look to the past because Secretary Kennedy, RFK Jr., has been spreading disinformation about vaccines for 22 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, people always want to bring that up, and all I can say is you have to live life living forward.
Just moving forward. You just got to move forward. Just ignore your mistakes and just push on through. Just ignore everybody telling you that it was a bad idea, and then it's ending up being a bad idea, and then go keep on doing bad ideas. Fuck, God, no integrity.
Distract from actually what we should be speaking about. We should have positive, in fact, you're playing into this. Yeah, we should have positive policy to improve the health of the American people.
That is RFK's job. That is the president's job. You know, that is the job of the USDA, the FDA. You know, them making sure our food is healthy. Inspecting our food so we don't have like diarrhea and infected meats and spread of screw flies. Like, fuck me.
We should be really about making America healthy again. And that means that we should be working to increase immunization rates, not to decrease them. And the policy that the president just put forward is going to decrease immunization rates, aside from being less convenient and costing families more. And frankly, that is where the focus should be.
So I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bill Cassidy is a coward. Bill Cassidy is a terrible person. Bill Cassidy is not the biggest monster in the world in the sense so Trump is a sociopath. Trump, I think, is in terms of the harm that Donald Trump commits and the selfishness and the narcissism, he's just a more purely evil person than a Bill Cassidy. Bill Cassidy is in some ways worse because Bill Cassidy has a conscience. Bill Cassidy, we've actually seen him. When he voted to confirm Todd Blanche, more on that in a moment. We just did a video about Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's new attorney general. Bill Cassidy voted not just to confirm RFK Jr., but even more recently voted to confirm Todd Blanche, the most disqualified and corrupt attorney general in U.S. history. Set that aside for a moment, put a pin on it. But he broke down near tears when he gave his speech in the Senate because what he knew what he was doing was wrong. But he put politics ahead of principle. Cassidy knew that then when it came to RFK Jr. too, which is why he's basically telling Jake Tapper and others, don't ask me about that. We have to look forward. Time moves on. Yeah, no shit. But you had all the information you needed at the time to make a different decision, a better decision that would have helped save people's lives, which you were bound to do not just as a U.S. Senator, but as a doctor, as a physician. Instead, you chose to do the wrong thing deliberately, knowing it was wrong, hoping it would work out for you politically. It didn't work out for you politically because Trump politically shanked you anyway, endorsed a primary challenger, you lost your primary, and now you're stuck in the remainder of your term. That's why you feel comfortable enough to talk shit about him on CNN. Bill Cassidy's a piece of shit. And another demonstration of how much he's a piece of shit is about his confirmation vote for Todd Blanche. So let's hear Tapper confront him on that.
I want to ask you about Todd Blanche, because I know you had misgivings before you voted to confirm him as Attorney General. A few days after his confirmation, he appeared at an event alongside President Trump and the Republican candidate running for the governor of New York. And the event seemed to be pretty partisan. And then at the event, Attorney General Blanche praised the Republican running for New York governor. Take a listen.
We just heard from our great Nassau County executive, Bruce Blakeman, who is doing everything we need him to do to back the blue, to support law enforcement.
We're just a few months from the midterms. No Democrats spoke at the rally. A lot of Democrats considered it to be overtly political. Do you think it's appropriate for the Attorney General of the United States to be participating in an event like that 81 days before the midterms?
All I saw was that little snippet, so I'm going to reserve comment because I was not aware of that before this. I will say that Republicans are very strong on law enforcement. And the president has been strong on law enforcement. And Todd Blanche has been strong on law enforcement.
Honestly, at this point, them breaking the Hatchet Act is the least of their crimes. You know who's not out there breaking campaign?
Has been working the pavement. He has the passion, he has the commitment.
Campaign laws. Talarico.
He has the credibility to go up to Washington, D.C. and carry that message forward. Councilman, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Oh my God. Thank you. I appreciate you. Y'all get out and vote. Tell everybody in November it's a big midterm.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
What up, everybody? Everybody doing? I'm one of your council members, Edward Pollard. We have a really, really important election that is coming up in November. And then a lot of the things that are important to our communities will be on that ballot. And I was always told that we need to support those who support us, those who take the time out to come to our community, talk to us, listen to our issues and concerns, and then hold them accountable when it comes time to put them in office. My good friend James Talarico is here with us today. Let's give him a round of applause. James is a state rep out of the Austin area with a public school teacher in San Antonio, but he's down here in Houston making the rounds, and we got to show him some love. This man right here has been working the pavement. He has the passion, he has the commitment, he has the credibility to go up to Washington, D.C. and carry that message forward. So without further ado, let's give a huge round of applause for our new U.S. Senator from the state of Texas, James Talarico.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Thank y'all for letting a politician come and crash your brunch. I'm so thankful to be here. I just want to encourage everyone to show up and vote this November. This election is so important. If you are tired of the corruption in both political parties, if you are fed up with high prices at the grocery store, if you're fed up at high prices at the pump, the way we change that is showing up and voting for elected officials who are actually going to serve us. And that's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for your support and your vote in this election. You can find out more about us online, and you can make sure you check your registration when you show up and vote in November. So thank you all for being here. Let's go change things this November. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much for standing up for my community. You actually stand up and say the things that need to be said.
Well, we're going to do this thing together.
What are we going to do about these cannabis laws, bro?
The THC ban is insane.
It is.
Hey.
In the legislature,
I'm a firefighter, and that does really great stuff for my mental health.
Well, same with
See?
veterans, with
Yes, sir.
PTSD,
Yes, sir.
seniors with chronic pain. Like,
Yes, sir.
at the federal level, we could legalize cannabis
Yes, sir.
across the nation. I'm a big believer in that.
That's
So,
up to you,
yeah,
sir.
I appreciate
Yes,
y'all.
sir.
Talarico for THC, bro. Talarico for legalizing THC. Hell yes. We love to see it. 100, 100, 100. Oh my God. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Oh, look at her. She's beautiful. Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. Both of them.
Thank you. That means a lot. We got to do it.
Ooh, wow. Wow, there's more people than I thought. Definitely more people than I thought. Oh, all taking photos with him too? Bro, he's 67% of black voters in Texas said they were gonna vote for Talarico. Like, let's fucking get it, bro. Talarico is getting the Latino vote, the black vote, and then the Christian vote. He's not gonna get the white old men vote. Those are the three people who said they're not voting for him. White old men. We gonna vote again. Oh, look it! Wow, 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 wow. That's so fun, bro. That is so fun. I want to go to another rally. I want to. I think I'd have to sign up again to volunteer for him. Walk in September. Talarico for Texas. My pawpaw. Let's meet his pawpaw.
And Jamie is my grandson.
As a Baptist preacher in South Texas, he taught me to follow the two great commandments. Love God
and love your neighbor.
I've tried to commandments. Love God
and
love God and love your neighbor. That's what his pawpaw taught him. That's what my grandma and grandpa's always said to me too. Just be kind and love everybody, because we love you too. Oh my goodness. Even when you're in jail, they love you too.
Love your neighbor.
I've tried to follow those teachings, first as a public school teacher,
and now as a Texas lawmaker,
providing relief to those struggling to afford their health care, their housing, their groceries.
That's loving your neighbor.
I'm James Talarico, and I approve this message.
Amen.
You're never going to make it in Hollywood.
No.
You're down in Georgia, right? It's part of this new Southern strategy that I think Democrats have. Their map to take back a majority runs through the South. What are we talking about? Why don't we talk about Georgia? Look at this. John Ossoff up by 13 points. How about Roy Cooper, the former governor, up 9 points? And then James Talarico holding on to that lead in the great state of Texas down there in the South, 2 points. So 3 southern states, 3 former Confederate states, and you see that Democrats are leading in them all. There has not been a Senate Democratic win in North Carolina since 2008, and in Texas you have to go all the way back since 1988, so it could in fact be a historic year for Democrats in these 3 southern states.
You know, I think the situation we're in right now is really perfect for the saying, it's darkest just before dawn, because we had to go through some rough times before coming out on the other side with a lot more hope and promise than we even thought that we would have.
What would it look like if all 3 of the Democrats were to win in those 3 states? How unusual is that?
Yeah, how unusual it is. They're ahead in these 3. They're also heavily favored in the great state of Virginia. So in the 2000s midterm Senate races, we're looking at something historic potentially here, Sarah Seidman. They're up right now in 4 states. The most Dem wins in a year in the former Confederacy in a midterm in the 2000s this century is only 2. They could potentially win double the amount of races than they have in any midterm cycle this entire century in the southern United States when you add together Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, and the great Commonwealth of Virginia.
John Ossoff is up 13 points. You're a Georgia guy. What is
all that makeup he's paying for?
Don't just that glow up. He looks great. North Carolina, Roy Cooper's up 8. Ohio, Sherrod Brown up 8. Oh, sorry, Roy Cooper's up 9. Iowa, Josh Turek up 4. In Texas, Talarico up 3. And Greg Abbott, who will be on the ballot, is only up 1 in our most recent polls. Now, you might say, there's no way that Texas is ever going to go blue, etc. Maybe it would go a little bit purple.
Answer my question.
Because the Republicans haven't been delivering because cost of living is too high, because they don't have decent health care. And they did have health care. They needed those ACA subsidies that the Republicans voted against. So, yeah. We got to clean up our side of the street, but I don't know how any Republican is sitting there thinking that they're in good position when you're looking at these numbers right now. And those, by the way, are centrist, normie Democrats. Every single one that I named is not running on the DSA platform. They are running on fixing your cost of living, cleaning up the corruption, making sure that you have health care.
With all due respect to AG Paxton, I mean, when are you going to expose James Talarico, though, in terms of his many claims? Because we have around 80 days until Election Day, and at the time, clock's ticking. Many are worried that this might be resulting in the Senate going to the Democrats.
It's a great question. You'll remember I had a runoff that lasted till May 26th. On the 27th,
Bro, how are we going to trust somebody with your lazy ass eye, my guy? Oh my goodness. And what did she say about exposing James Talarico? Listen, don't be taking shots at my guy, okay? Okay, we don't know what skeletons are in your house, but so don't be taking shots at him. This guy's literally cheated on his wife, literally living with his mistress right now.
$0 left to spend. So my opponent had 3 months. He didn't have a runoff, so he raised about $30 million from mostly California.
Yeah, so it's all of y'all's fault. It's not his fault. He didn't have any money because y'all didn't donate to his campaign, and Talarico has all the money. Talarico, I think, is up like 10-1 on fundraising.
California. If you go look at it, most of his money comes from out of state.
That's not true.
And so we've been trying to build it up during the summer, which is challenging, but we're going to get there, and I think you're going to see things start popping potentially next week.
Bro, one of his eyes isn't up to the task. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm so mean, but one of his eyes is not up to the task to be campaigning how they want.
For us.
Like Talarico is all full of piss and vinegar. Okay, he is ready to go. He's backing out of the debates. Fucking.
And then
bitch.
We'll build up as we get closer to the election. So it's just a matter of time.
The Democrat, James Talarico, has raised and has cash on hand $21.5 million. Paxton, the Republican
that's 20 to
candidate
1.
in what has been red Texas, has $1.8 million.
She giggled. She giggled. She's like, Talarico swinging with a 21-incher, and Paxton got his 1.8 inch. Yo. That's funny.
And I want you to listen to what Ken Paxton did. He went on Fox and basically begged for money.
I'm optimistic that they'll come in soon because as we're raising money, we're working our way back into October, which is where we can spend money, and we're trying to work our way back to September. But we need help now because James Talarico has been spending $3 or $4 million a week on TV for the last month. So I want to compete.
It's just extraordinary to hear a Republican in Texas having to beg for money on television at this point in the race. And it's also, I mean, we're all here old enough to know that Democrats have been promising to turn Texas into a purple state for a long time and haven't actually done it. But it does look, certainly on the money side, but also on the polling, like they've got a real chance of doing that in this race. And that is a huge shift from decades of political reality in that state.
But I'm awfully tired. It's not just because I'm old and I walked up the stairs back there. It's because I'm tired of divisive politics. I'm tired of hateful rhetoric. I'm tired of corruption. I'm tired of criminals running for office.
Ken Paxton was impeached by his own party.
I'm so tired that I'm willing to fight for what's right. And Talarico is what's right for this state.
Okay,
We're seeing the rise of not only Democratic Socialist of America candidates, but just generally further left-wing candidates, because not every progressive is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. Nonetheless, these primary victories are a really, really big deal and a reason why we should all be encouraged, because it's not just the progressive vote that's pushing these candidates over the edge, because you got to keep in mind that really isn't enough. It's the rest of the Democratic base and even some disenfranchised Republicans who are coming into the fray, and that's what's pushing these candidates over the edge. All of that combined, we look at the polling in the southern United States, and I mean, look, if there was ever a year in time that Texas would go blue, or at least partially blue, it's now, because Ken Paxton is possibly the worst candidate that anybody's ever seen for that particular seat. James Talarico is doing a great job, and I think that his Christian background actually will help him at least a little bit, if just marginally, to get him over that edge. And the Trump administration is so atrocious, so abysmal, that the Republican Party has no credibility, no leg to stand on, and nothing worth selling. You know what I mean? And so now is really the time for us to be hopeful. I will point out, though, that Francesca Hong, she lost by 3,000 votes.
3,000
comes down to getting the vote out.
3,000 votes. Voting matters.
She ended up losing, and again, this is for governor, so the
voting
whole state
fucking matters.
3,000 people in a whole state definitely could have got to the polls. So at the end of the day, we can't take anything for granted. You have to go to the polls and vote. Again, you up in the polling and you lose by a little over 3,000 votes, that boils down to getting out the vote. So we have to make sure that we do our part at the end of the day. We can't just promote. We can't just be excited. We have to actually go to the polls and vote. If we do that, I think that we're going to be in a good situation going forward. So let's all keep our heads up and do what we got to do.
A city at sea, 5,000 Americans, 260 days at sea, with broken toilets, moldy showers, stretches where there was no hot water, laundry rooms were locked for weeks, and food ran incredibly low. And the Secretary of Defensiveness had the gall, the nerve, the audacity to say that all of the reporting on it, quote, completely misrepresented what's going on out there. Meanwhile, a United States senator is jumping up and down showing text messages from the people on the ship as proof. And that senator is Ruben Gallego, a war Marine from Iraq. He posted that he has been in contact with a spouse who is forwarding him her husband's messages from the USS Abraham Lincoln. His quote, "Stop lying and fix the problem." I mean, Pete Hegseth, what the hell are you doing? Your side wraps it.
And just think about it. These ships are supposed to be only on a certain amount of uptime, or their tour is only X amounts of months, because they are supposed to come back and resupply, make minor repairs, and get a new crew. That's like normal. They were out on the longest deployment of naval history, over 260 days.
Self in the flag, yells about supporting the troops, but you're far more concerned with controlling the PR around this disaster than you are with actually supporting the people who sacrifice day in and day out under the leadership of Commander and Bone Spurs and you, Mr. Warrior Ethos Fox News host himself. And by the way, the person who broke open this USS Abraham Lincoln story, it wasn't the Pentagon Press Corps. It sure as hell wasn't cable news.
Oh, that's what happened?
It was Jared Zisser, the Marine Corps veteran.
My attorney's gonna love this. I can't wait to tell him. It's like, hey, so we're gonna let North Korea off the hook, who actually have nuclear weapons and have a missile to get to the United States to reach us. We're gonna let them off the hook because South Korea is not helping us with Iran, who don't have a missile that can get the nuclear weapon that they don't have to the U.S. Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. That don't make no types of sense.
Former host of this program, one of our own, and he was screaming about this back on May 8th. Yes, he was reporting that a sailor aboard the Lincoln was down from 160 pounds to 128. Quote, "My ribs are showing." Family members saying, quote, "These kids are starving," showing a photo of a nearly empty tray captioned, "This was my breakfast." And that was 3 months ago. Jared put the questions to the Navy back in May and he got silence. And he stayed on the story week after week after week while all the big outlets took months to catch up. And finally, you had voices like Jim Acosta and Midas Touch eventually started amplifying his story right alongside him.
Holy hell, guys, we defeated the White House and the United States Navy yesterday with posts about sailors jumping overboard on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Check this out, guys. People across this country made a lot of noise about what was happening aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. The news picked it up. Social media exploded. Lawmakers were demanding answers. And in just 24 hours, a massive change.
Jared goes on to share multiple stories of soldiers attempting to jump off the ship after desperately feeling helpless. And so I'll encourage you, go to the take, go follow Jared Zisser on his Substack. This story is in the daylight because of his independent reporting, and he refused to put it down. Now, eventually, Stars and Stripes and the Navy Times both started talking to sailors and the families, and their reporting described exhaustion, collapsing morale, and a crew that is clearly not okay. One family member said that a provider on board warned the ship needed to reach port before people started losing their minds. Another one told NBC it feels like it was a scene out of a horror show. I mean, look, these are our people that are willing to put themselves on the line for our country. They signed up to serve. They've been out there for a record-length deployment, and their families are begging for anyone in charge to notice. And their command's response, typical deflection. All because accountability seems to be an allergy to people like Trump and Hegseth and their minions. CENTCOM put out a statement branding the coverage false, a statement that somehow never, not once, got around to addressing the food or the toilets. Now, they did concede that one sailor went overboard, but he was recovered. So all's well, right? As for Senator Gallego, he went on NPR giving the most damning critique of what's going on, about this planning or lack of over the whole deployment. Quote, "They're just kind of winging it," and saying that's not proper leadership. And that right there, that is what pisses me off the most about what's going on in our military. It's why we're not out of Iran. It's why it is so disastrous to have Doug Wilson's little protege running our military, winging it. And I want to ask you, what do you think the Pentagon is actually protecting here? Are they protecting their actual mission, or are they more concerned with protecting the story around the mission? Drop a comment and let me know what you think. But I want to tell you what I think is really going on. This is just my thought here. I think a lot of the money is gone. I think that's why we're seeing these problems.
That probably
the Pentagon
sound
budget
really
picture,
good.
I'm guessing, is far worse than any of them are letting on.
Oh, she's
and this deployment is just a microcosm, a small look of what the desperation looks like from the outside. I mean, the Lincoln is stuck out there because the war Trump started for no reason continues to drag on. Resupply for that ship got complicated after Iran showed that they actually have had the advantage in this stupid war the whole time. And the Pentagon, it cannot get the ship what it needs. And of course, they can't bring it home because that's signaling giving up. So they just leave it out there. Soldiers and sailors starving. And they have the gall to blame the fake news. Then you add that, you couple that with Hegseth going before Congress begging for more money, a lot more money.
A lot more money. A lot more money. Like, if we halved the military budget, they still have $600 fucking billion to fuck around with. Okay?
See the president spending money that Congress has never approved on his ballroom, the security blanket underground underneath the ballroom. That arch, the no-bid contracts all over the place, spending billions to kidnap the president of Venezuela, his family, raking in literal billions. But where the hell is all of that money coming from? None of it's been allocated by Congress. It's just donors, right? I mean, seriously, look at what the White House has tossed to the public just last week. You have the presidential memo saying an American shipbuilding base, it's been atrophied. So now we're going to start buying warships that are built in foreign yards overseas, taking away American jobs. You've already got a $1.85 billion allocation laid out in the next budget just to study that idea. America first, unless we can get Japan or South Korea to do it for us. The America First administration can't build its own frigates at home. And in that same damn memo, the dumbest thing, Trump ordering the Navy to rip out the electromagnetic catapults on carriers and put back steam on a ship that's roughly already half built. The quote, with nearly 50% of production complete, changing course now would introduce significant cost, schedule, and integration risks. And that comes from General Atomics, the contractor building the damn ship. Donald Trump, I mean, he's got serious issues understanding the science of magnets. This is what he said in October 2025.
Hydraulic for your elevators or magnets. You know, the new thing is magnets. So instead of using hydraulic, that you can be hit by lightning and it's fine. You take a little glass of water and you drop it on magnets. I don't know what's going to happen. So, you know,
Then shut the fuck up. You just said, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, okay, then shut the fuck up and let the engineers fucking engineer.
In the new carriers, I think I'm going to change it, by the way. They have magnets. Not every tractor has hydraulic. Every excavator, every excavating machine, if any kind has hydraulic. But somebody decided to use magnets for your elevator. Maybe they're good.
And now look what he says in November of the same year.
Magnets. If China refused to give magnets because they have a monopoly on magnets because they were allowed to happen over a 32-year period, there wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are, and not overly sophisticated, but to build a magnet system would take 2 years.
But then, by July of this year, he has this to say.
When a little water touches the magnets, it doesn't work anymore. You're in the Atlantic Ocean with waves that are 60 feet high, and the Pacific Ocean with waves that are 70 feet high. And they're talking about magnets. It makes you want to get sick.
Oh, but then 5 minutes later in the same speech, slurring and slurping his way through that speech that he's clearly never read before, he says this.
Electrical power and critical minerals, and I hope you're going to do magnets. Somebody out there, I hope you're all brilliant people. Magnets. Do magnets, okay? I'll tell you how to make money. Do magnets. You're doing a lot of great stuff. Do magnets. Because one thing we don't have, but we're getting close, but do magnets. So I hope John Gray is listening to me so he can give him a couple of bucks and go into the magnet business. I guarantee it's going to be a success.
Magnets. Can't use them. Unreliable. But we also have to invest in them. We'll make money off of them. China does them better than us, but mystically they can't get wet. This is the same guy who informed America that he knows more about grass than any human being on Earth. Great. Now he's the world's leading authority on naval catapult engineering. By the way, the French and the Chinese both building their new carriers with these electromagnetic catapults, so we would literally be handing competitors an edge in modern tech and reverting our own fleet to the technology of the USS Nimitz. Make America 1975 again. Hell, we haven't purchased hydraulics.
Bro, we're back to the 1950s, 60s, bro. We're back to the 50s and 60s again.
Systems for carriers in something like 20 years. And it would require an entire retrofit, an entire hydraulic system just to support it. And Senator Mark Kelly, by the way, who's launched off the front of carriers hundreds of times, holds a master's in aeronautical engineering, and was an actual test pilot and astronaut. Even he says that he wouldn't tell the Navy how to engineer their ships. He told Jen Psaki that the president is a marginally failed real estate developer with multiple bankruptcies. And his post said that Trump should stick to what he knows best: ballrooms, bankruptcy, and bullshit. But yeah, think about that. The ballroom, the arch, the helipad. That's what's important to Trump. Not the man overboard call when sailors are jumping over because they have no food to eat. But you know what? Let's blame the magnets and the press. Do me a favor, subscribe, because we are going to keep following this story until that ship is finally home, and then accountability will follow.
Hopefully. I hope one day.
So Sean Hannity had an absolute conniption and aneurysm.
My prince will come. Na, 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 na.
Live on air here because he invited on Oliver Larkin, the DSA candidate running for Congress in Florida's 25th district against the self-described Ron DeSantis Democrat, Jared Moskowitz. By the way, that race is coming up soon. I really hope anybody in Florida's 25th district, I hope you guys are listening. I hope you go vote for Oliver Larkin. It would be amazing if we took down Moskowitz. Now, by the way, don't get it twisted. This is a very, very difficult district. I just want you to know that. It's a very hard district. It's a tough race. Having said that, this guy's run a phenomenal campaign. He's doing all he can. He went on Fox News the other day and called Trump a pedophile. And the host crashed out and lost it and, like, ended the interview early when Oliver did that. So he's the real deal, bro. I'm a big fan of Oliver.
Yo, this is the 5th. I have Google AI. Why is it not telling me the exact answer to my question? Why doesn't it want to talk about the elections? This is so sketch, bro. This is so sketch. Oh, my Jesus. We're just not in a timeline. We're just not in a timeline where AI, the further AI goes, the better. That's not the timeline we're in. We're not in the Centennial Man movie. We're more like Titan AE, you know? Oh, Jesus. We're more like Terminator-ish AI.
He's coming on Crystal Island, friends, this week. Do not miss it. It should be a phenomenal interview. I'm really, really looking forward to it. But he's been making the rounds on Fox News, and the thing I love is that he's going on there to fight. Like, you know, if you are running in a Democratic primary and you're being invited on Fox News, the correct thing to do is to agree to go on and then fight him, and then create spectacle, raise money off that, get a bigger name for yourself, and try to win based off that. And he's doing it, and it's working. Like, there was a poll that came out. It was an internal Oliver Larkin poll. Previously, he'd been down 20 points, 30 points to Moskowitz. In the new poll that just came out, he's only down 2. Okay? Again, I don't know what's going to happen in this race. Very tough district, but he's doing a great job, and as good as he possibly could do given the circumstances, right? So, goes on Hannity show, and boy, oh boy, does this get spicy and very fun. Let's watch.
Florida Democratic congressional candidate Oliver Larkin. I do appreciate you coming on. I do. Let's pick up.
But fuck you.
Bro, got the Clark Kent curl. Got the Clark Kent curl haircut. What's he rocking right there? What pin does he have? I like the steez, bro. I like his attitude. Look at that. And look at this old fuck. Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus.
That's what he wants to say.
Where we left off on my radio show. So I ask you, 2 each according to their need, from each American according to their ability. And I ask you, well, who said that? You did not know that it was Karl Marx. Have you had time to think?
Isn't that evidence that he's obviously not a communist?
Yeah.
Right? Like, Hannity's trying to use that to...
I can't even quote Karl Marx. I don't even know what part of Medicare for all, Social Security, when we hit 65, I don't know what that means for communism. All I know is I want my tax dollars to take care of people and not kill people. I would like my taxpayer dollars to take care of old people who can't work anymore and not kill people. Is that so terrible?
Say you're a communist. But like, if he didn't know that it was Karl Marx that said that, wouldn't that be evidence he's not a communist? Which you should like, right? See, it's like, this is what, I mean, Fox News is just fucking low IQ slop and drivel for the dumbest people in America who are currently dying, okay? That's what it is. And like, you don't have to bother to try to make sense. It's just like, bad guy, good guy, go. It's like Neanderthal level shit. Let's keep going.
I've been focusing on meeting the people of our district, and I'm not coming at this from a theoretical point of view. I'm coming at this race from a pragmatic point of view of what the American people and the people of South Florida need, and that is Medicare for all, that is universal child care, that is the policy proposals that you just articulated on your show. This is what people, working class people, Democrats, Republicans, and independents want to see reflected in our government's priorities.
I love how he immediately hit Medicare for all, free child care. Now, in comes the crash out.
It's not free. We're going to pay for it. But the thing is, just switch $600 billion from paying for a military that goes and kills people. Just take that $600 billion, switch it to taking care of U.S. citizens. You just make that swap. It's not actually, you need my 48-part plan. You need my, man.
Gives you such confidence? Medicare for all, taxpayer-funded abortion.
Maybe because Medicare for all polls are like 60% or 70%, depending on which poll you look at. Maybe that's why he says people want that, because they fucking want that. Sean?
Democrat is like 80%.
Bulbous face.
And Hakeem Jeffries came out and said he's not promoting any type of Medicare for all solution. The leader of the Democratic Party said he is not sponsoring a Medicare for all option. Oh my days. Oh my days.
Bitch. Federal government, prescription drugs, no more electoral college, automatic same-day voter registration, etc., which I think is ridiculous.
No, that's dope. I don't know why registering to vote is so fucking difficult.
Why is that ridiculous? Automatic same-day voter registration. First of all, we should just have automatic voter registration, period, right? And that's, I think, what Oliver's position is. The reason you do that is because if you care about democracy, everybody has a right to vote. When they hit the age of being able to legally vote, automatically register them. If you make them do different paperwork things, you're just putting a hurdle in the way that's going to depress turnout or suppress turnout. Do you understand that? So, anybody who actually likes democracy would support automatic voter registration. But Hanny's like, that's ridiculous. Why is that ridiculous? By the way, he's not even going to make an argument. But that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because Sean Hannity wants turnout low because that helps Republicans. And he cares more about Republicans winning than having a small D Democratic country.
Because you need time to check it out. $25 minimum wage. Let me ask you the question this way. Out of every dollar these so-called evil rich people make,
it is not all of their dollars. It's some of our dollars too. My 48-part plan does raise taxes on lots of people, including us a little bit. I think actually, when you looked at it, I think we all do pay $300 more in taxes, but you're not paying for health insurance anymore. So if you have to pay $300 more in taxes, but you don't have to pay your health premiums every month, every year, every quarter, is that a good trade-off?
how much should they be able to keep in their pocket after they pay all the taxes you and your fellow socialist / Marxists would like to take?
Oliver, why won't you think of the poor rich people? Oliver, you're being so mean to the people with all the money and all the power. Bro, you can't make this up. He's literally doing you're victimizing the rich bit. Do you really think that's going to land in the year 2026 as gas prices are through the roof, as grocery prices are through the roof, as wages are stagnant, as 80 or 90% of the country is already living in a recession? Do you really think that that's going to land, Sean? But the fact of the matter is he's preaching to, like I said, the oldest, dumbest people in the country who are dying. So it will land for them, but that's it. Everybody else is going to watch this going, are you serious? Pity the poor rich is the argument you're making when they've gotten everything under this pedophile government?
How much should they be able to keep?
I think if we went back to the mid-20th century top marginal tax rates that we saw under the FDR, Truman, and Eisenhower administrations, that would be a fine place to start.
That's okay. Now, by the way, that's a direct answer. The top rate under Eisenhower, the top marginal tax rate was, I believe, 93%. And that's on income It's at, like if you make over $3 million a year in today's money, that income over $3 million a year is taxed at 93%. I'm giving rough estimates. It's like $3 million or $5 million over that amount per year. Direct answer. Let's see how Hannity responds.
Was the golden age of the American middle class when we were expanding the share of wealth and equity in the country. And
you want? Well, give me a number. What percentage?
He just did. He just told you. I like the rates from FDR, Truman, and Eisenhower. That era. So if you don't know that, that's your fault. But that era, that is, if you make like over $3 million or over $5 million a year, somewhere in that range, that you'll be taxed at 93% on every dollar above the $3 or $5 million range. That's it. That's the answer. And that, by the way, like he said, that was when our...
My plan would be every dollar over $1 billion, 90%. So you still are a billionaire. You still are a billionaire, but 90... And we don't even have to do it for the whole time. My 48 part plan, it would lower taxes on individuals after we get the debt down to like $20 billion. Like, oh my Jesus, it's fucking
the best it's ever been. So that obviously is the redistribution that comes about from that is a good thing.
Should every American be able to keep after they pay the government, local, state, federal?
It depends on the range of income that someone is making. For billionaires, I think that billionaires should be taxed out of existence. There's far too much money that is concentrated among the wealthy few.
You want to empower the government to take from the most creative.
The most creative, bro. The ones who buy other people's fucking companies and then make billions of dollars off of it. What the fuck?
The most brilliant people in our country.
Oh no! Oh, you walked right into the trap, Sean. You bulbous-faced bitch. Job providers who are the most creative and the most special, precious little boys. Oh, really? Elon Musk is addicted to ketamine and Nazi posting on a daily basis as he steals $38 billion from the American people to make a bunch of rockets explode, okay? He's currently cutting pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels, and he's a fucking trillionaire. These people are parasites. You want to talk about parasites? I'm sorry. It's not the poor person who takes like $2 per meal to feed their kid to make sure they don't starve. The real parasites are the Elon Musk types, okay? Oliver knows that. You don't know that. Look at Oliver's face. He's smiling as Sean Hannity is like doing his defend the billionaire shtick. Oliver's so based. He went on Fox News and said we should tax billionaires out of existence. Oh, inject it in my veins, bro. Let's go.
Now, I don't know many billionaires that are self-made that are stupid. Do you?
That's because you're an idiot.
Elon Musk.
And so you don't understand. You can't tell that they're dumb. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Elon Musk is one.
All the messaging and the PR.
I don't know any.
Well, I think that in the case of someone like Elon Musk, he's taken billions of dollars in government subsidies and government handouts to enrich his further wealth, and he also
rescued astronauts that were abandoned by Joe Biden. I'm sure you're grateful for Elon.
Did he?
Oh no, Sean!
Did he?
Sean, what have you done? Oh, Sean. By the way, he gave you a direct answer. He was like, "Oh yeah, can you name one stupid billionaire?" And he's like, "Elon Musk."
Elon Musk. Yeah.
It's contribution there, right? I'm grateful for that.
Well, I mean, Elon Musk didn't even start his own company. He just bought it out, and this is, someone.
Okay, but I'm sure
no. Multiple. PayPal and Tesla. He bought from the people who invented it and fucking turned it into what it does. Like, props for doing what he did, but let's not pretend that he started from scratch.
Astronauts, the Joe Biden.
Say thank you to Elon. Say thank you to Elon right now. In Elon we trust. Yes, in Elon we trust. I wonder, does Sean Hannity have any thoughts on Elon Musk fighting to allow Grok to make child pornography? Do you have any thoughts on that?
He's literally fighting for the rights for people to take your photos online and make porn out of them. Jesus.
Imagine if it was a Democrat who fought to allow AI to make child pornography, what Sean Hannity would say. Imagine if it was a Democrat who took $38 billion in your tax money and my tax money to make a bunch of rockets explode. Imagine if it was a Democrat who constantly did vaporware and fraud and lied about their business acumen and stole from investors. Imagine if it was a Democrat, what he would say in that scenario.
Biden abandoned in space 200 and some odd days.
Sean, I'm not really sure what you're speaking to. The International Space Station. I think
I'm talking about the guys that needed to be rescued, and Joe Biden did nothing, and Elon Musk rescued them.
This is total like right-wing inside the bubble claptrap nonsense.
I'm sure you're great. All right, let me move on.
I think that we should have a national NASA
billionaires
system
should be
that is
taxed
actually
out of
funded and
existence.
not having Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk making their own rockets.
Somebody making $100 grand a year, how much of every dollar should they be able to keep?
I think that the tax rate on most middle-class Americans and
Oliver,
Sean,
give me a number.
It's not that
how
easy.
much out of
I know
every
that
dollar
nuance
should they
doesn't
be able
work
to
well
keep?
on cable news, but
100 grand. No, 100 grand. How much of every dollar should they be able to keep? It's a simple question.
He said, I don't think we should be raising taxes on middle-class Americans is what he
Yep.
said.
How much are you willing to let the government take? How much? Give us a number.
I want to see a return on our taxpayer investment. We pay
Give us
Medicare,
a
yet we don't
number.
get to benefit
Somebody
from Medicare
works
for all.
hard, makes $100 grand a year. How much of it?
The same. What they're paying now. My plan actually is like we would be paying more, but you know, every little bit helps.
Every dollar should they keep?
I'm not interested in changing the tax rate on middle-class Americans, on people making $100 grand. I want to raise tax.
There you go. So he doesn't want to raise it at all on $100 grand.
Somebody that makes $500 grand a year, 500,000.
So now he ups it. He's like, oh shit, that one didn't work. All right, what about $500,000? Before you're doing the pity the poor billionaire routine, now you're gonna do the pity the poor $500,000 a year earner routine. Is that what you're gonna do? Do you have any idea? That's like, I think that's like the top 1% of, or maybe top 2% of income earners. You're still talking about the rich there at 500 at the 500 line.
A year, how much out of every dollar should they be able to keep?
It is in proportional to the top marginal tax
Give
rate.
me
that
a
we
number.
See, where if you're making
Oliver.
How
give me a
many
number.
house seats?
How much out of every dollar should they keep?
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. You're the one that wants, cradle to grave, womb to the tomb, Green New Deal.
What they put into the system.
Okay, so how much
Green New Deal,
in your head?
We should have public ownership of utilities.
The DSA people talk a lot about fairness. What is fair for a guy that makes $500,000 a year out of every dollar?
We don't have to raise their tax. Well, again, like for my plan, we would raise their taxes, but you'd get more out of it. You'd save money because of the Medicare for all. And that's what he should be harping on, Oliver. Just be like, you're saving money by not having premiums anymore. Everybody from millionaire to from millionaire to middle class to low class, you're saving money because you don't have to worry about health care anymore.
How much should the government get?
I guarantee you, whatever he would say, you'd have Sean Hannity be like, that's too much, how dare you? So again, notice who he's concerned about. First it was the billionaires, now it's the $500,000 a year earners that he's very concerned about. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane in this environment to be like, these are the people I care about and these are the people who are being oppressed?
Answer the question. Why don't you stop playing games?
Answer the question!
Oh, he got real flustered.
So hard that my face is becoming even more rotund and bulbous by the second.
The person making $500,000, $1 million a year, they should pay the same rate in Social Security tax as the rest of the working class because there's a Social Security.
How much?
Okay, that is a fucking answer. If you know anything about
32 seats.
Then you do know that if you make $500,000 a year, you pay actually a lower percentage of your money.
They need to flip 20
Social
seats?
Security
20
somebody
seats?
Who makes like 80
20
grand a
seats?
year. Because we have what is effectively a
We need
regressive
just 20
tax system.
seats.
So when he said they should pay at least the same when it comes to Social Security, what he's advocating for there is raising the cap so that you have LeBron James pay the same percentage on his income for Social Security as does some.
That's part of my plan. That's part of my plan.
Somebody who makes 50 grand a year or 80 grand a year or 65 grand a year. Because right now, the people really carrying the burden of that are the lower income earners. If you lift that cap, then Social Security is fully funded as far as the eye can see. So he's giving a direct answer to the question. Hannity's acting like it's not a direct answer. Every question he asked, he gave a direct answer, and Hannity pretended like it wasn't a direct answer.
Which out of every dollar should go to taxes? How much can they keep?
$184,500 a year.
Oliver, this is my last shot.
Did you hear? He gave specific numbers there, and Hannity's pretending like he's not. Did you hear that?
Give
the rest
me
of the working
a
class because
number.
there's a Social Security
How much
income
out of
cap.
every
With the
dollar should
Social
go to
Security
taxes?
income cap
How
from
much can they keep?
$184,500 a year.
Oliver, this is my last
Tax
shot, and I'm
every
going to say
dollar that a
goodbye.
billionaire
I literally can't even. He's bringing up numbers, but I can't even hear what he's saying because Hannity's yelling over it.
into the.
I'm not talking. I asked you $500 grand a year. How much should go to the government out of every dollar? How much should they be able to keep? Answer the question. Be honest, for crying out loud. What's fair?
They should pay the same Social Security tax rate as working class
All right,
Americans.
goodbye.
We need to raise the taxable income cap on Social Security.
You don't want
billionaires
a
are not
real
paying
opinion because you.
That is it. Oh my God, that's literally a direct answer. It is literally a direct answer to say let's stop with the Social Security tax being regressive, because whatever the number is now, it's like 125,000, or I guess it's more than that now, 150,000, whatever it is. Every dollar above that isn't taxed at all for Social Security. So he's saying lift the cap on that. He's like, that's not an answer. It is a direct answer. It is a direct answer. Okay.
No, you will look stupid. To each according to their need, from each according
What?
to their ability. That makes you a Marxist.
What?
Okay.
What did he say that made him a Marxist, bro? Holy shit.
Ready for this? Scroll down, and you immediately see Oliver Larkin, no money from AIPAC. Jared Moskowitz, who he's running against, $833,000 from AIPAC. But my favorite one, leave the pedophile billionaires alone. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Sean Hannity. Nobody in the history of U.S. politics has ever shown so much concern for the billionaires and then the $500,000 a year earners while showing no concern for those making, under $100 grand a year. Okay? This is Sean Hannity's concern at this moment when the income and wealth inequality is worse than the Gilded Age. I threw my voice out there in anger. Worse than the Gilded Age. The bottom 80% of Americans only have 7% of the wealth. Sean Hannity doesn't give a shit. He's not concerned about them. He's concerned about the rich. The top 1% stole $80 trillion from the bottom 90% since 1974. Hannity doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want you to raise taxes on the rich. By the way, on that alone, isn't that an argument to raise tax on the rich massively? Because the top 1% stole $80 trillion from the bottom 90%? I mean, that alone, that makes the case all by itself, but he would never touch that in a million years. The bottom 50% of Americans only holds 2.6% of the wealth. He doesn't care about them. He cares about the billionaires and the $500,000 a year earners, because he is a pathetic loser. Pathetic right-wing MAGA hack. And he knows they're losing relevance and they're about to get wiped the fuck out, and so he's panicking and crashing out, but Oliver held his own there and did a phenomenal job. All right, y'all. That's the show, man. Love y'all very much. You guys know the drill. Everybody do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel.
Problem is that they are presented with only two choices and are incapable of seeing moderation. So I don't think it's a, thank you for the comment, I don't think it's a question of incapability.
So we would be paying 3% more in taxes. 105 to 201K would be paying 4% more. 201 to 256K would be paying 1% more. 256 to 640K would be paying one or the same amount. Everybody over $600,000 would be paying 2.9% more. Damn. Married households, same breakdown. Wow. Single filer earning 100K taking the standard deduction under the Big Beautiful Bill would be paying 13. Payroll tax would be $7,650. Under Daniel's plan, it'd be $11,550. Because of Medicare. All right. So how much would I be paying? Let's see. Let's put 83. We be paying 24.4%. I would be paying 20,000, but then I wouldn't be paying for my health care. Healthcare is like 120. Still paying a little bit more. Okay, but here we go though. Because your budget stabilizes national debt within the first 5 years. Oh wow, see that my 48 part plan is very drastic in paying down the debt. Um, so I guess it pays it down in 5 years. Okay, it pays it down in 5 years. We could probably stretch that out to 10 years. And built-in triggers activate in 2031, right? Lower individual tax brackets. The bottom brackets, 10 and 15%, are explicitly lowered for working class households. Medicare tax drops as well. The 4.35% Medicare payroll tax is scaled down to a more sustainable level once the cost-saving measures of Medicare all uh, take effect. Uh, include the phase 2 tax relief in the comparison tax brackets.
I think again it comes back to the information sources that they're consuming. Because the information sources that people in MAGA are consuming are either being dishonest to them or they're withholding relevant information. You know, as just an example, there's a story out today that the president is looking to spend nearly $1 billion on White House grounds renovations. And of course, most of it's going to be paid for by taxes. It's way more than the president had originally said it would be. But and I saw that story in the Washington Post, and people who are in MAGA are not reading the Washington Post. They think the Washington Post is liberal democratic media, even though it is owned by a Trump ally, Jeff Bezos. So it's why I say with empathy that we have to remember that those who are in MAGA are not.
Yeah, we could definitely work on this because after this bases off, if we only lower the taxes for the people in the like 0 to 24 and 24 to, I mean, well, actually 24 to 100K, their tax bracket, wow, it drops down to 8% after 10 years. Or years 1 through 5 is 15%, and then after the 6th year, 8%. Um, yeah. The other ones stay pretty high, but I'm not mad at it. I think there's room to like drop the 100 to 200K to from 25%. I think the 200 to 400K could drop from 28%, but I think the rest would be reasonable. 400 to 500K. Sorry. See, these would be the percentage of our taxes that we're paying with Medicare for all. So I think right here we could we could move things around to so we're not paying so much here and here. We could drop these down. And ultimately, we're saving money because of Medicare for all. The dollar is going up. Social Security is solvent. We're getting a lot for our bang for our buck. Uh, we're getting 75K first time home buyers assistance, legalization of marijuana. We're getting increased K through 12 spending, provide free community college, increase the gas tax by 25%, end Social Security cap. We're getting expand coverage for Medicare for all. We're getting increased minimum wage to $18 an hour. Okay, it's a 40. No, yeah, 48. 48. That's what I thought. Provide family, pay family leave. Getting a lot with this plan. And all it would cost us would be 3% increase in taxes for 5 years. And then after 5 years, we would drop it down. Oh, wait, this is good for everybody, right? I think this is good for everyone. Because of because of the progress. Oh, okay, we should probably read this. Okay. When phase 2 kicks in, the financial relief for working class household is substantial because of how progressive tax brackets work. The tax rates are applied in layers. For a single filer earning 50K, 50,400, the first 12,400 is now taxed at 5% instead of 10%, saving $620, and the remaining 38,000 is taxed at 8% instead of 15%, saving $2,660, and that is a $3,280 direct tax cut compared to year one. A standard deduction expansion in phase 2, a standard deduction which sits at 16,100 for single filers in 2026 under current law is heavily expanded. This allows individuals to earn more money before hitting the first 5%, that first 5% tax layer. Medicare for tax rollback. The Medicare tax, originally tripled in year one to fund the transition to Medicare for all, is rolled back. Once Medicare for all cost containment measures like prescription drug negotiations take full effect by year 6, the Medicare payroll tax drops from 3% to 1.5%, the pre-2026 levels. That's crazy. That is crazy. Awesome. This is too good. Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna screenshot this actually. And there is so much room to negotiate with this. This is I had planned for like us to be solvent after 10 years. This does it in 5. Imagine only 5 years of having to have higher taxes. 5 years, and then we'll have Medicare for all. We'll have first-time home buyers. We'll have all these nice things. We'll have paid family leave. We'll have community college for everyone. We'll have all that. And then after 5 years, we'll still have all that stuff, but we won't have to have high taxes. Our taxes will be lower. That's fucking. Oh my goodness. That is absolutely beautiful. Bill and tax reduction. Debt crisis is averted. That is, I'm very happy with that. Like I said,
Now,
the room
one way that we
to
can
negotiate
try to
too.
open up a conversation with them is what we call information bartering. And what that is you agree to read something that the person in MAGA offers you if the person in MAGA reads something that you offer them.
Respond to
And I think this would be a perfect story to show
Hey!
them about the White House construction and how the president has been, as usual, dishonest about what it would cost and has been dishonest of who would be paying for it. We as taxpayers will pay for it. And we'll pay for something that's nearly $1 billion when people are struggling to afford their energy costs, their rent, their health care, and their housing, all of which are more expensive today than when Trump took office. So by every measure and metric, life is more expensive because Donald Trump was reelected president. And I think there's no amount of lying from Fox News or MAGA media that's going to convince people that they're better off economically today. If you're a person of means, you're better off today. But most Americans are not people of means. We are middle class. Our purchasing power is the lowest that it's been in.
That part.
Share of our wages is the lowest it's ever been. Our purchasing power is significantly diminished over the last few years. This is information that people in MAGA are not getting from their media sources. So if information bartering is something that you're willing to do, read something the MAGA person gives you if they're willing to read something you give them. And if you do it enough, you might actually be pleasantly surprised that the person in MAGA will read what you give them. And keep in mind that you're not doing it to try to change anybody's mind. Leaving MAGA, we don't work to try to change people's minds. We don't debate people. It is not our philosophy. Our philosophy is to empower people to leave MAGA and tell their stories, and to also give support and services to.
Yeah, okay. Doing the Lord's work. Please help Rich. Help people leave MAGA. I'm obviously not
Speaking
of that mind.
Another race, Mila Kunis has a new opponent. And apparently, Colorado investigative journalist Kyle Clark exposes this independent who was, I guess, like trying to make it sound like he was essentially running almost to her left. And it's quite clear what was going on is it a operation to split the vote and somehow help the Republican. But this didn't work out so well for Dr. Shimon Blau.
You're going to love this guy, Sam.
Right now, we want to turn to Colorado's elections. Kyle Clark joins us now after sitting down with the challenger running against Mila Kunis in the race for CD1.
Yeah, it's an interesting race, right? Republicans won't be competitive because it is Denver. You have the Democrat Mila Kunis, and then you have Dr. Shimon Blau, who is trying to pull off the near.
I like Kyle. Kyle's a really good reporter in Colorado.
Impossible.
Colorado's crazy as fuck.
To win as an independent candidate in a deep blue Democratic district. Blau rallied the Jewish community to gather signatures to put him on the ballot right after Democratic Socialist Mila Kunis, fierce critic of Israel, easily won the Democratic nomination over longtime Congresswoman Diana DeGette. This is Blau's first time running for office, but he's long been passionate about politics. Liberal on social issues like gay marriage and abortion rights, but otherwise, his online posting history resembles a lot of right-wing trolls, mocking liberals and progressives over their worries about Donald Trump, opposing Muslim immigration, sharing far-right tributes to Charlie Kirk, and calling President Barack Obama, Blau called Barack Hussein Obama, the worst president ever.
Your online writings show a decade-plus stream of contempt for liberals, particularly those concerned about Donald Trump. And you're certainly entitled to your views, but now you're telling progressive voters in Denver that you're one of them when your writings for a decade plus show that what you've done is you've mocked them, made fun of them.
That's funny.
I mean, I would have to go back and take a look at all of those posts, but definitely my views have changed over years. That's a very, very long time ago. And one of the things about listening and growth is to be able to change one's views on things.
Certainly, and you've previously self-identified as a conservative. Do you still self-identify as a conservative?
Fiscally conservative.
You wrote, "Newsflash to my liberal friends,
that
most
was
of us
me.
Conservatives care about other issues like national security, a stronger..."
That's what I said I was too, a fiscally conservative. And my budget plan is physically conservative too. My budget plan is definitely fiscally conservative. Like I said, in 5 years, in 2031, phase 2 would save us $3,280 in taxes. Let me do this. How do I copy my shit? I don't know how to copy it. I like my photo. No, that's not how I did it. That's not how I did it. Ah, there it is. Alright. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. How do I whisper her? Alrighty then. Let's see what his answer is.
And affordable health care. So, and that's one of a couple of times you self-identified as conservative. Do you no longer self-identify?
No,
as
I still believe in all of those things that I mentioned. I
okay,
do believe
and you
in
described yourself as conservative. So I'm asking you, do you still self-identify that way?
No, I'm more of a centrist, but I am fiscally conservative.
Gotcha.
Shimon Blau strongly disagrees with Milot Kiros.
Something happened to his mic. I was trying to read up on this guy. You want to guess what motivated this lifelong progressive to enter into this race, Sam?
Let's see. Well, he's fiscally conservative. We know that. And so maybe he's afraid that Kiros is going to be too loose with the pocketbook strings, or Israel.
Blau said that he was specifically bothered by what he described as Kiros' anti-Semitic rhetoric and feels that Kiros does not really represent everyone here in Denver. She's also a member of Democratic Socialists of America, who came out with their recent platform manifesto, if you will, and it's pretty scary. Blau splits with Kiros on their opinion about Hakeem Jeffries, who is touted to be the next Speaker of the House. Blau supports Jeffries and thinks he's doing a wonderful job, whereas Kiros said she is serious about getting money out of politics and would only consider voting for him if he promised her a good committee assignment. So I've never seen a more obvious Zionist plant in my life, and he's not even a good one.
When I see that guy, I don't see a plant. I just see a guy who is doing his best. Like, I think he believes what he's doing. I don't think anybody put him up to it because
No. Nobody picked him out of a crowd and said, "You're the guy to take down the heroes."
I'm sorry, but but why is he even saying he would support Hakeem Jeffries? That's something that a donor class would tell you to say.
Yep.
I honestly just think that this is a guy who's like, I'm the guy to do this.
I agree.
To split the vote?
I mean, I don't even think it's to split the vote because I'm not even sure if there's like any chance. I mean, you have to really, really split it. But
it's Denver, yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I think I think there is a group of people out there who just simply. I mean, it's the same dynamic with Hassan Piker, like where they actually think this stuff is going to resonate within the Democratic Party. I mean, because basically you're talking about Denver, you're talking about this is basically a Democratic, it's just all Democrats voting. The primary is more or less the general. And they've deluded themselves into thinking that their perspective is widely shared and that there's a whole sort of like cohort of people out there that we just haven't heard from, and they're really terrified. And yeah, and I just don't think that's going
such
to.
a 90s answer. I'm fiscally conservative and socially liberal.
I mean, it's a joke. It's like considered something that like every woman sees on a dating app and runs the other way.
Also, I like how he's like, those posts were ages ago, and it's like the ones about Charlie Kirk getting shot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was
Not
fairly
ages
recently.
I've had a lot of change in my life in the past couple of weeks.
Well, as a potential Zionist plant, maybe he knew about the Israeli plot many years ago. Let's get Candace on this.
I can't get behind the plant thing. He's just too kooky.
I know. I mean, I'm just...
He's just a wingnut who is destroying his retirement.
Yeah.
A very, very ill-conceived plan.
On a plan that is very obvious, I would say, right? His motivation is to split the vote. It's got to be.
Maybe he thinks he can win, or what? I mean, either way, but even if you were sending somebody in to split the vote, like this is not the dude you would do it.
Fair enough.
I do appreciate Kyle Clark giving us some airtime, though.
All right, y'all. I am out to bed. Have a good night. Appreciate y'all coming and watching. I will see you all this weekend. I don't know which days. Definitely Thursday. And then we'll see about Friday and Saturday. Good night. Take care of your neighbor. Love your neighbor. Make them a plate of food. Ask your friends over for some food, if you can. If you are the friend that needs some help, don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? We can all get through this together. Bye.